Hi everybody, Charlotte here to tell you about my newest creation, which is called Fluidity, and how I made it. I made this as part of the Project Spark 10x40 CreationJam. And if you're not familiar with what that is, it's basically a contest that limits you to 10 unique objects and only 40 copies of those objects at one time. Now the objects I chose, and I only used 3 visible objects and 1 invisible one, are the ancient sconce, the ancient dome, and the ancient Codian sword. And then I also used logic cubes because they're really convenient for things like creating the fluid field, and you'll see that in a minute. So this is all of the parts I used put together in the shape of a fish. And then I went in and I actually changed the way it's displayed so it looks a little bit more like a drawing, just because it appealed to me, especially when I had the motion put in. So after some vector math and a little bit of trigonometry, I came up with this. So this is the character I created. When you play it, you can move all around him, you can zoom in and out, and my favorite thing is he's actually interactive, so you can move faster if you'd like, or slower, and then you can see the world move and change around you with these bubbles that I render. And you may be seeing a lot of them and thinking to yourself, hey, that looks like more than 40 things. But they're not actually objects, they're just spheres that I'm drawing in space. And yeah, I went a little nuts playing around with this here. So if you're wondering how I made the bubbles, I just created a brain that stores a position and then updates that position according to some rules, and then it draws a sphere at that location. And then I added that brain into 3 different objects. And you may be wondering, well, why 3? And that's because an object is limited in Project Spark to only having 100 brains. So you'll have the default brain and 99 other brains. So this is actually a little visualization I put together so you could get an easier understanding of how it works. You see the numbers that are kind of fading in right now? Each one of those is a sphere. And there's going to be 3 groups of them, and each one is a different object that kind of manages a set of spheres. And I decided to have them fade in over time so that you could, for one thing, I didn't want everything to just sort of explode in bubbles at the beginning and having no other bubbles, but I also wanted it to feel kind of like you're on a journey, and like the music track, which is really beautiful in my opinion. It just came out in one of the most recent packs in Project Spark. I wanted this experience to kind of build and feel like it's getting fuller as you go. Now you can see the second object is all full, and now the third one is going to start coming online too. And if you look closely, as I speed up the fish, you'll see some of those values get really bright and then disappear. And what's actually happening is when things get far enough behind the fish, they actually disappear, and then I reuse that brain for a new sphere out in front of him again. So you can have kind of an endless journey as long as you'd like, playing in this universe. So that's basically what it is. Feel free to hop on Project Spark and try it out for yourself. I personally think it's pretty fun, and I think the contest in general was really neat. I mean, just the idea of making things simple really made it fun. So if you haven't tried Project Spark yet, go check it out at projectspark.com, and what you make could really surprise you.